Today we're going to crochet Halloween pumpkins. The crochet method of the main ball of this series is the same. We use gray yarn to demonstrate the crochet process of the main ball. You can use the orange yarn in our package to crochet. First, we're going to learn how to wrap yarn around our left hand. Pull the yarn and wrap it around your pinky first. Then around the index finger. And finally around the middle finger. Cross the yarn ends and press with your thumb. We need to make a magical ring fist. Get out of our crochet hook. With the hook facing down, pull through the loop. Press down on top of the yarn we've straightened. Pull out yarn. Then wind the yarn upward from the bottom of the straightened yarn. Thread through an existing loop of yarn on the crochet hook. This method of hooking the crochet hook from the bottom of the yarn upwards is yarn over. This is a starting stitch. It cannot be regarded as the first order of stitching. Keep crocheting through this hole. Yarn over and pull it out. Now there are 2 loops on the crochet hook. Continue yarning over, pulling from both loops. The first single crochet is done. It has a V shape. Usually, we put a marker on the first stitch of each turn. Pass the stick maker through the back of the V-shaped needle and fasten it. It's easier for us to remember which loop we made. The first round is a total of 8 single crochet hooks. Keep crocheting through this hole. Yarn over and pull it out. Continue yarning over, pulling from both loops. The second single crochet is done. Use the same method to complete the remaining 4 single crochets. The last single crochet is done. Now let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first round ends with 8 stitches, which is correct. At the end of each round of crocheting, count the number of stitches to see if it is correct. Now we need to tighten the ring. Find the short yarn. Pull the yarn end on the short side and pull hard until there is no gap in the center of the circle. Then we started crocheting the second round. The second round is 6 increased stitches. Increasing stitches means crocheting to single crochet stitches in each stitch. Now we remove the stitch marker. Insert the crochet hook from the stitch where we just removed the stitch marker. Merge the yarn ends of the short sides into the crocheted fabric to hide it. Complete a single crochet stitch first. This is the first single crochet in the first group of increasing stitches. Remember to add a stitch marker to the first stitch of each round. This will make it easier for us to know where to start. Next, complete the second single crochet stitch in the first group of increasing stitches, still inserting the crochet needle in the stitch just now. Complete a single crochet stitch first. Yarn over and pull it out. This way, the first group of increasing stitches is completed. Next, complete the second increased stitch in the next stitch. Still do 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. Use the same method to complete the next 5 increased stitches. Crocheting a few stitches. You can cut off the yarn at the beginning. The last stitch of the second round is completed. Checking the number of stitches at the end of each round can ensure that our subsequent crocheting can proceed smoothly. At the end of the second circle, there are 12 stitches. Now start the third round. The crochet method of the third round is 1 single crochet and 1 increased stitch as a group and repeated 6 times. First, crochet a single crochet in the first stitch. Then crochet an increasing stitch in the second stitch, that is, 2 single crochets. The first group 1 single crochet and 1 increasing stitch is completed. Continue to complete the remaining groups. The last stitch of the third round is completed. Remember that we have 18 stitches in total? Then comes the fourth round. The crochet method of the fourth round is 1 single crochet, 1 increased stitch, and 1 single crochets a group, and repeat 6 times. Crochet a single crochet in the first stitch. Then crochet an increasing stitch in the second stitch, that is, 2 single crochets. Third stitch is a single crochet. The first group 1 single crochet, 1 increasing stitch, and 1 single crochet is completed. Continue to complete the remaining groups. The last stitches of the fourth round is completed. Remember that we have 24 stitches in total. Now it is the rounds 5 to 9, is 24 single crochets. 1 stitch per stitch, no increase or decrease. The 9th round is completed. Next is round 10. The rule of this round is 1 single crochet stitches, 1 decreased, 1 single crochet stitches as a group. Repeat 6 times. First, a single crochet. Start to decrease stitches. Decentralized stitches means turning 2 stitches into 1 stitch. For aesthetics, we use invisible decreased stitches on the surface of the crocheted fabric and only use the front loop only to crochet. The front loop only is the side close to our body, the outside part of the V we see. The crochet hook goes into the first front loop only. Hook in, continue into the second front loop only. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, passes through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pass through all the loops. A decreased stitch is done. Next is a single crochet. The first set 1 single crochet stitch, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet stitch is done. Use the same method to complete the next 5 groups. The 10th round is done. Next is the 11th round. Use 1 single crochet stitch, 1 decreased stitch as a group. repeated 6 times. First, a single crochet. Next is a decreased stitch. Pick up 2 front loops only and crochet yarn over. The first set is done. Use the same method to complete the next 5 groups. The 11th round is also done. It is great! Leave 20 centimeters of yarn waiting to be stitched. Cut the yarn. Use the crochet hook to pull the yarn out. Now you can add filling cotton. Take out our stuffing cotton and stuff it in small amounts and multiple times. Adjust while stuffing it in to keep the stuffing balanced until its shape looks like a round bulge. Pinch it with your hands to keep a certain elasticity. It is time to end the body part. Take out the sewing needle and put on the yarn. Now let's close the ball. Still using the front loop only. Still using the front loop only. Pass the needle through each stitch in turn. Sewed a total of 6 stitches. Tension yarn. Don't cut the remaining yarn. We hide it in its body. Sew a few stitches along the needle. Tighten it at the end. The stitch is complete. Insert the needle from the center of the circle. Pull the yarn out from the side of the body. Repeat several times to fix the yarn. Cut the excess yarn close to the body. Pinch the body and adjust it, and the yarn end will not be visible. Great! Its main body is completed. After the main body is crocheted, now we need to use yarn to tie the ball into the shape of a pumpkin. Insert the needle from the center of the circle at the bottom and tighten the yarn. That is, divide the ball into 4 equal parts. Insert the needle from the center of the circle at the bottom and tighten the yarn. In the 180-degree direction, complete another contour line. The third line is in the 90-degree direction. Continue with the 4th line. Adjust the shape to make it look like a pumpkin. Now put a knot of yarn on the top. Pass the yarn under several contour lines respectively. Don't tighten it first, leaving a circle. Finally, pass it through this circle and tighten it. Now hide the excess yarn tightly in the crochet fabric. This fixes its contour line. Now let's crochet its wings. Because the black yarns are not clear under the camera, We change to gray yarns for easy identification. First, need to make a slip knot. Make a loop with your right index finger. With your left hand, pinch the intersection and fold the loop. Pull the short side of the yarn out of the loop to make a new loop, and pull the long side of the yarn. Tighten it up, and you have a slip knot. Take your crochet hook and pass it through the loop. Adjust the size of the loop by pulling on the short side of the yarn. First, we need to complete 6 chain stitches. Yarn over and pass it through. This is our first chain stitch. Continue to complete 6 chain stitches. 1V is 1 stitch, so there are 6 chain stitches in total. In the second round, we need to crochet the half stitches above the V. Skip the first stitch and start crocheting from the second stitch. First, make a slip stitch. Directly through the loop. Then 1 single crochet stitch. Next, we have to complete it in 1 stitch. 1 single crochet stitch. To chain stitches, 1 slip stitch. First, a single crochet stitch. Then to chain stitches. Now return to the reverse side of the second to last stitch and make a pull-out stitch. Insert the needle at the raised part of the stitch. Make a slip stitch. The last 2 stitches are 2 single crochets. Leave 10 centimeters of yarn for stitching. Cut the yarn. In this way, 1 wing is done. Taking out the sewing needle, we need to hide the short yarn in the fabric. When the yarn is shorter, you can insert the needle into the fabric first, and then put on the yarn. Cut off the excess yarn. In this way, 1 wing is done. Use the same method to complete the other wings. Now you need to sew the wings to the pumpkin. Put the needle through the yarn. Find its position and insert the needle into the pumpkin from the edge. Remove the needle 1 stitches apart. Pull out the yarn. From the corresponding wing stitch, pass it up. Then insert the needle from the next stitch down and pass it into the pumpkin. That's it, all the way around the wings of the pedicel, around the pumpkin. Hide the short yarn in the fabric. Use the same method to sew the other wings. Now let's sew its assist and mouth. Use back to black yarn for the demo. Make 2 corner stitches for the eyes. Then make a zigzag line where the mouth should be. Dispose of the excess yarn and the pumpkin is done.